Oh no. Okay, so this lesson we're going to be using base 10 blocks to model. But it is different from our old lesson because did we ever have to regroup in our old lesson? Did we ever have to take 10 ones and make them 110? Or 10 tens and make them 100? Or take 110 and make it 10 ones? No. Today, we're going to see what happens when we have to regroup because as you probably noticed, you were seeing a lot of the same problems over and over and over again in the last couple lessons. That's because they were just trying to get you to understand multiplication without regrouping. Well, now we should all understand multiplication without regrouping. So now it's time to work on multiplication with regrouping. So everybody, let's look at the build it. Everybody, finger or pencil on build it. When we have modeling lessons, remember build it is just like example 1. So finger or pencil on the build it. And go ahead and read in your head while I read out loud. Sometimes you need to regroup to multiply numbers. Regrouping uses place value to exchange equal amounts when renaming a number. So underline, regrouping uses place value to exchange equal amounts when renaming a number. Because if you see regrouping again on a Check My Progress or the review or your test, guess where the answer to what that vocabulary word is. Where's the answer to that? Carla.
The answer is...
Where, I'm asking, Carla, make sure you're listening to my question. I'm not asking what the answer is. I'm asking where the answer is. Who can help her out? If you see regroup on a Check My Progress or the review or the test, where do you know the answer comes from? Colin.
On this page.
This page, page 229. It's the underlined sentence. So what we're going to do today is we're going to use a model to represent 3 times 26. We already know step 1 when we multiply is to multiply what? Come on, guys. Colin's not the only one in this classroom. Sit up. That jacket should be over in with your backpack. We don't have time right now. Colin and Carla are not the only ones in this classroom. We learned this lesson yesterday. When we multiply, what is the first step? Kingston. Multiply the ones. Well, if we look at this problem, we know that means 3 times 6. Well, every time we've multiplied the ones up until today, we've gotten a 1-digit number. But 3 times 6, is that a 1-digit number? Class? No. 3 times 6 equals 18. Can you put 2 digits in one place? No. So now we're going to see how that looks. Well, first, step 1 is just like when we modeled with base 10 blocks before. We model 3 times 26 with base 10 blocks, which means we do what? When we model 3 times 26 with base 10 blocks, what do? Wake up. How do we model 3 times 26 using base 10 blocks? Victoria, what do we do first? Do we model 3 or do we model 26?
We model 26.
We model 26. How do we model 26 without looking in your book?
We draw 2 tens flat.
2 10 rods. 1, 2. 2 10 rods represents what? 20. And then, are we done modeling 26?
No.
What do we do now?
We draw 6 ones.
We draw 6 ones cubes, which are worth how much? 6 ones cubes are worth 1?
6.
6 ones cubes are worth 1. Now we've modeled 26. Do we model just 3? What does does the smaller factor tell us to do?
We model 26 3 times.
The smaller factor, remember, tells us how many times to model our larger factor. So we model our larger factor. When we are using base 10 blocks to model a multiplication problem, we model the larger factor. The smaller factor tells us how many times to repeat. So that means we need to draw 26. How many more times? 2 more. We've got 1. Use your pencil. We need that muscle memory. 2. And now a 3rd time. Okay, so we modeled 26, 1, 2, 3 times. Let's pause that and we will come back to it after the pictures. Okay, so we just did step 1 and we modeled 3 times 26. We modeled 26, 1, 2, 3 times. Well, now we know when we're using base 10 blocks to model, what's our next step? What was our next step? After we actually drew the model, what was our next step when we were using base 10 blocks to multiply? Carla.
Our next step is to find out our ones.
We had to count the ones. We had to circle and count the ones. Well, if we circle and count the ones, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Are we able to write 18 ones in our place value chart, class?
No.
No. So what that means is that we have to take 10 of our ones and turn them into a what? 10 ones is the same as what block? Kingston? How many 10 rods? 1. So we have to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we have to turn it into a 10 rod. So I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of my ones cubes, and I turned it into one 10 rod. Now, after I circle them, I'm going to go ahead to remind myself that I don't count them. I'm going to cross them out. Make sure, do I need to cross these 2? No, I'm not crossing out this whole group of 6. I'm only taking 4 because I took 6 from the first group. Well, I don't need to take all 6 because that's 12. And is it possible to turn 12 ones into one 10 rod? No, because there's only 10 ones in one 10 rod. So I crossed out my 10 ones. Now, let's count the ones that are left. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many ones are left? Class?
8.
8. Now, I know after I find the ones, when I'm using base 10 blocks to model, what's my next step? What do I do? After I find the ones, when I'm using base 10 blocks, what do I do next? Aaron. I have to count how many 10s there are. I'm not going to redraw this. I'm just going to count them up here, okay? So let's count the 10s. Count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do not ignore the new one that you just created. Otherwise, what's going to happen? Are you going to have the right answer? No. So now, how many 10s are there, class?
7.
7. So that means that 3 times 26 equals what, class?
72. 8.
3 times 26 equals what, class?
78.
78. I know that was an accident, but slow down a little. Slow your brain down a little. Okay. So does everybody understand that? I'm going to pause for a second. Go check. Girls at home, don't close your math books yet. Okay. Excuse me. Everybody, finger or pencil on the try it. Victoria, please stop. Okay. Find 4 times 31. Do we need to look and figure out what our operation and factors are? No, it's not a real world problem. So, step 1 when we're using base 10 blocks to model is what? Step 1 when we're using base 10 blocks is what? Zadie,
Find the ones in front.
how can we find them if we haven't modeled it yet? Step 1 when we're using base 10 blocks is to do what? Kingston.
Use base 10 blocks. Use base 10 blocks to model those.
We have to model 4 times 31. Okay, Kingston, how do I model 4 times 31? Do I model 4 or do I model 31?
31 is 4 times.
I model 31, the larger factor. I repeat it, the smaller factor number of times. So first, how do I model 31, Kingston, without looking?
We have to have 3 10s.
3 10 rods. 1, 2, 3. Okay? That's 30. How do I model 31?
Then you have to add, and then you have to put 1
1 cube. Okay, I've got 31. But what do I have to do to model 4 times 31? Do I draw 4 1s cubes? No. I saw that quite a few times. Absolutely not. So Kingston, how do I model the 4? What do I do with it? What does that mean?
It means that you have to do it again.
I have to repeat my larger factor, which is
31.
the smaller factor number of times, which is
4 times.
4 times. So I've got 1, 2. Make sure that you're drawing this so that you have that muscle memory. 3 and 4. Okay, so I modeled 4 times 31. I modeled 31 and repeated it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. What's the next step when we're using base 10 blocks to model multiplication? Aaron, count the ones. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I put 4 in the ones place? Class?
Finish that problem.
Okay. Can I put 4 in the ones place, class?
No.
Can I put 4 in the ones place?
Yes.
Yes. So do I have to regroup? No. There are 4 ones. So we know in our answer, we're going to have 4 ones. Okay, we'll finish this after our pictures. So Zari, we're on page 230. And then you know that when we use base 10 blocks to model, the first step is to model the multiplication problem. On page 230, our multiplication problem is 4 times 31. When we model with base 10, when we model multiplication with base 10 blocks, we're not modeling both numbers. We're not modeling 4 1s cubes and then 31 with 10 rods and 1s cubes. Remember? We model the larger factor using our blocks. So we would model 31 as 3 10 rods and 1 1s cubes. Now when we do 4, we don't model 1, 2, 3, 4 1s cubes. Remember, the smaller factor tells us how many times to repeat the larger factor. So we model 31, which is our larger factor. Then we repeat it, the smaller factor, which is 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next step, when you're using base 10 blocks to multiply, is to count the what, Zari?
the hundreds.
Not the hundredths. Do we ever start with the hundreds place?
No.
Where do we always start when we're multiplying, adding, or subtracting?
The one.
The ones. So after we model 4 times 31, we count the ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it possible to put a 4 in the ones place, Zari?
Yes.
Yes. We can put a 1-digit number in one place. Because the difference, Zari, between this lesson and what we did last week, or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, last week, maybe, whatever, is that today we're going to have to regroup. In our build it, we had to regroup in the ones place. But for this, the try it, Zari, do we have to regroup in the ones place?
No.
No, because we only have 4. We can fit a 4 in the ones place. So Zari, you should go ahead and have, there are 4 ones, because we know there are 1, 2, 3, 4 ones. And so we can go ahead and put our 4 in our place value chart. Now, this is where we all are. The next step after we count the ones is to do what? After we count the ones, what is the next step? Carla.
Count the 10.
Count the tens. Well, everybody, let's count our tens together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Is it possible to put a 12 in the tens place? No. We can't do that. We can't put a 2-digit number in one place. So what do we have to do? What is that word that tells us what we have to do? We have 12 tens, but we can't do that. So we have to do what, Zadie? We have to regroup. Okay, we have 12 tens. How many are we going to take away? How many tens are we going to change? Not take away, but how many tens are we going to change? Smith?
10 rods.
10. So let's count and circle 10 rods. 1, 2, 3. There's one group. 4, 5, 6. There's another. 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12. Do we take this whole group of 3 to change? Zari?
No.
No. How many are we going to take so that we can change it from this group?
From that group, just the first one.
Just one. Because now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rods. 10 rods is the same as what? 10 rods is the same as 1 what? Aaron? 100. So we take those 10 rods and we turn it into 1 hundredths flat. Now, do I need to count these tens, or are they pretty much, they're changed? They're not 10 rods anymore. Do I count them, Cullen?
No.
No, so I'm going to go ahead and cross them out so that I don't forget. But I'm only going to cross out 1 from this last group. How many tens do I have left, class?
2.
2. Can I put 2 in the tens place?
Yes.
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 Definitely. Am I done?
No.
No, because what do I still have? Victoria.
Your hundreds flat.
I have my hundredths flats. So, I'm sorry, let's look at step 2 again. Find the tens. There are 12 tens, but we regrouped those 12 tens as 100 and how many tens? Class?
2
2.
2.
Because 12 tens becomes 100 and 2 tens. Now, the next step is find the hundredths. Well, how many hundredths are there? Class?
1.
1. There is 100. Can we fit 1 in the hundredths place? Definitely.
Yes.
So that means 4 times 31 is what? Class?
124.
124.
124. Now, before we get to the talk about it, I need everybody to get out a sheet of paper. because we are going to do some example problems, and that's what we're going to do for the rest of the time. We have like 20-something more minutes until library, so we're going to go ahead and do some example problems. Yes, Smith?
Don't us at home have to leave soon so that we can be there?
Yes. So
Okay.
whenever you have to leave, just go ahead. And you're good. Just let me know, Miss Willis, I have to leave. If you need to leave right now, if it's easier to leave right now, that's fine. If you want to wait until, just whatever you need to do. Okay, so we're doing some extra examples. We'll do that until it's time for a library. Our first example problem is 4 times 63. Mason, help me out. What's the first step when I'm modeling multiplication with base 10 blocks?
You draw 6 10 blocks.
So I have to model,
Model 63.
I have to model 63. I model my larger factor, which looks like what? 6 10 rods, okay? Don't write huge because remember you're gonna have to do a lot of circling and all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? That represents what? 6 10 rods is the same as how many? Not the number 6. What? How much is 6 10 rods worth?
60?
60. Are we done?
No.
No. What do we have to do to finish modeling 63?
You have to model 3 cubes.
3 ones cubes. 1, 2, 3. 3 ones cubes are worth how much, Mason? 3. Are we done? Did we model 4 times 63?
No.
No. How do we model this 4? Do we draw 4 ones cubes?
No, you draw 4 times.
I draw what 4 times?
63.
I repeat 63 4 times. So I've got 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. There's my second 63. There's my third 63. And there's my fourth 63. So I've got 63 and I've got it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But before I move on, I'm going to count to make sure that I did it correctly. Because if I accidentally left out a 10 rod, am I going to get the right answer? Even though I know exactly how the process works, if I accidentally leave out a 10 rod or a ones cube, I'm going to end up with the wrong answer, even if I do the process exactly right. So let's just count to make sure I have 6 10 rods each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's something that you should do every time you draw models, is just go back really quick and make sure that you have the correct amount. Because if you don't, you're going to end up with the wrong answer. Now I'm going to make sure I have 3 ones cubes each time. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm good. Yes, Kingston, quickly. So you drew too big. Just put it on the next line. Remember I said don't draw huge. Okay, now what is the next step? After I model the multiplication problem, what is my next step, Victoria?
The next step is to count them.
I have to count the ones. Let's count them. Victoria, count them with me. Everybody else, count them in your head. On your paper, not up here. Okay, ready, Victoria? 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I have 12 ones. Can I put 12 ones in the ones? Can I put 12 in the ones place? No, so what do I have to do? What's that word that tells me what to do? Regroup. So I have to take how many of these ones? I have to take 10. So let's circle 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. How many do I have to circle from this last group of ones to get 10? Just one. And what do I do with those 10 ones?
You make them into a 10.
I make them into a 10 rod. Now, I'm going to cross these out just so I don't accidentally forget and count them. But I'm only going to cross out what I have in my circles. What do I have left, Victoria? I have 2 ones cubes. Can I put 2 in the ones place?
Yes.
Most definitely. Very good. Okay, so I just counted the ones. What is the next step, Zadie?
The next step is to find the tens and count them.
Find and count the tens. Zadie, do it with me. Everybody else, do it on your paper. 1, 2, Zadie, do. Count the tens.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
Louder.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
I have 25 tens. Can I put 25 in the tens place? No. So what's that word that tells me what I have to regroup? What I have to do?
It's regroup.
I have to regroup. How many do I need to take? How many 10 rods should I take to regroup? How many of each place do we always take when we regroup? We never take more than what? 10 at a time. At a time. So let's start with 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I need to circle all of these from the next group? How many am I going to take from the next group? I have 6. How many do I need to take from the next group? 4. 7, 8, 9, 10. And what do I do with those 10 rods?
You make them into 100 flat.
I make them into 100 flat. 1. Oops, I don't know why I counted. That's a weird 100 flat. Let me fix it. And now I'm going to cross out those circled ones so I know not to count them. How many 10s do I have left now, Zadie?
No.
Do I have 9? Did you count? Do you have the right number of 10 rods? How many do I have left? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, well I have 14 10 rods. Can I put 14 in the tens place?
Miss Fuller,
Yes.
are you counting the other one?
Oh, I didn't. So sorry. I did forget that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Can I put 15 in the tens place?
No.
So don't do what I just did and accidentally forget to count your extra. No, I can't. So what do I have to do?
You have to regroup.
I just have to regroup again. In addition and subtraction, did we ever have to regroup in one place more than once? No, but in multiplication, sometimes you do. So, how many do I take?
10.
10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I turn those 10 rods into
Another 100.
another hundredths flat. 1. I don't know why I'm counting these groups because we don't really need to know that. I would put it over here, but I don't think you guys at home would be able to see that. Okay, so I turned my 10 more 10 rods into another hundredths flat. Now let me cross them out so I know not to count them. Now, Zadie, how many 10 rods do I have left?
5.
5. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I put 5 in the tens place?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Am I done, Zadie?
No.
No. Because what else? I'm just picking a random one. Zari. What do I do? I just finished counting the tens. What do I do next?
Find the hundreds. Count the number of hundreds.
I find and count the number of hundreds. How many do I have, Zari? Count them with me. Zari, count them with me. 1
1,
and 2. I think you're
2.
So how many hundreds do I have, Zari? Bless you. Oh, she's breaking up a little bit.
200.
Can I put 2 in the hundreds place?
Yes.
Yes. Zari, do I have any more steps? She's just behind her.
No.
No, her internet's behind. So that means, class, 4 times 63 is what?
252.
252. So, does everybody see? We're going to do another example. But does everybody see how to regroup using base 10 blocks? Do you see why you need to be super neat and super careful with these problems? Because if you are not super neat or super careful, all of this stuff is going to run together and you are going to be like, what? If you want to, Smith, do you need to go? Okay, I'll see you later. So just watch, you can watch the rest of this video later, and then you'll be back for reading. Just
Okay.
come back at 12:30.
Bye.
Bye, Smith.
Bye. See you later.
Okay, we have time for one more. Everybody feel good about it so far? Will it help to use another color?
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe it'll help to use your other color when you like circle and cross out. So go ahead, quickly get out another color that's not gray or black or yellow, not too light or too close to your pencil color. Let's do example B. If you don't have a lot of room on the front of your sheet, use the back. But make sure that you're not doing, okay, we have 10 minutes. Make sure you're not making it huge so that you can fit. So those of you who are making it huge, you're gonna wanna bring like this much paper home. Okay, B. Let's do five times 23. What do we do first? Cullen.
We modeled 23.
We modeled 23. How do we model 23?
2 10 blocks.
2 10 rods. 1, 2,
3 1s cubes.
and 3 1s cubes. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now what?
And then we do it again 5 times.
We repeat it 5 times. We model the larger factor. We repeat it the smaller number of times, the smaller factor number of times. So we have 1, 2. Try to give yourself space between each model, too. 3. 4. 5. So I modeled 5 times 23 by using base 10 blocks to model my larger factor and repeat it my smaller factor number of times. Okay. What do I do next? Aaron, I count the ones. Aaron, count with me. Everybody count with you're on your own, but on your own paper. Okay, Aaron?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Can I put 15 in the ones place?
No.
So what do I have to do?
You have to
Regroup. So I'm going to take my other color. In this case, I have blue. I'm going to circle how many, or I'm going to take how many ones? 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And what am I going to do with those 10 ones? I'm going to turn them into another 10 rod. And what should I do to make sure that I don't accidentally count those ones? What would be a good idea? What is not 100% necessary, but would be a really good idea? I'm going to cross out the ones I just traded. Make sure you're not crossing out too many. Make sure you're only crossing out the ones you regrouped, the ones you traded for a 10 rod. Now, what do I do, Aaron? Do I count the 10s yet? I just regrouped my ones into 110, but what do I have to do to figure out what goes in the ones place? I have to count how many ones I have left. So I have, Aaron, count with me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
How many?
5.
5. Can I put 5 in the ones place?
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to go to my answer. And I'm going to put 5 in the ones place. And now, actually, you know what? Maybe we should have gotten 2 colors because, so quickly get out another color. Super quick, just grab one. Doesn't have to go together. Just make sure it's not black, gray, or yellow, or white. Because you definitely can't do white. And Kingston, you're going to help me with the next step.
Are you okay?
Yes. And then Kingston, you're going to help me with the next step. So we just counted and trade and regrouped ones. What do we do next, Kingston? We have to count the 10s. So let's count them. Count with me. Everybody count on your own paper, but keep up with Kingston. So the speed that he's counting is the speed you'll count, okay?
1,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Can we put 10 in the 10s place? Oh wait, oh man, we did what I told you not to do. What did we forget, Kingston? We forgot our regrouped 10. Do make sure that you don't forget that. Let's try again, Kingston. So everybody count your own. Do not forget to count your regrouped 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So we have 11 10s. Can we put 11 in the 10s place? Nope. So what do we have to do, Kingston?
You gotta put
What's that word? What's that word though? We have to regroup, which means we take,
all the 10s except for
so we take how many 10s?
10.
10 10s. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what do I do with those 10 10s?
They made them to 100.
I turn them into a hundreds flat. So I'm going to take all 10 of these 10s and I'm going to turn it into 1 hundredths flat. Now what?
Then
What do I do next? What should I do to make sure I don't accidentally count these again?
cross them out.
Cross them, cross them out.
I just said that. Cross them out.
And now what? So we've crossed them out so we don't accidentally count them. So what do we have to do now? What do we have to do, Kingston?
We have to
Count how many?
100.
Can we get to the hundreds if we haven't put our tens in place yet? So we count how many tens are left. Kingston, how many tens are left? Count them. 1. Can we put 1 in the tens place? Definitely. Okay. What's the next step? Carla.
The next step is to find the hundreds.
We have to find and count the hundreds. Carla, how many hundreds do we have?
We only have 100.
We only have 100. Can we put 1 in the hundreds place?
We can.
We can. So class, 5 times 23 is what?
115.
115. Excellent. I'm going to ask Miss Miller, I really want to do one more with you guys today. So I'm going to ask Miss Miller if it's okay if we're about 5 minutes late, but you get to stay all the way till lunch. Yes. Cullen, let's do one more problem together. C is... times 58. Okay. Smith's not here. So everybody's going back in? Shh, guys, calm down so that we can get to library. Kingston, what's the very first thing that we do? Model 58. How do we model 58? 5 10 rods. 1, 2. Oops, that's a horrible 10 rod. 3, 4, 5. Okay. And so I have modeled my 50, but I need to model 58. So how do I show that this is 58? Eight ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I modeled 58. Am I done? No, I modeled my larger factor with base 10 blocks. What does this smaller factor tell me to do?
Do it again.
I have to repeat it twice. So I've got 1, and now I've modeled it twice. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to count to make sure I have the right amount of blocks. So I'm going to make sure I have 5 10 rods and 8 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I have it right, Kingston? Good. So now I can move on to the next step. Carla, what is the next step?
The next step is to find your one.
I have to find and count my ones. So I'm going to use my different color. I don't necessarily know if I have to regroup yet, but I'm just going to go ahead and take my other color just in case. Okay, Carla, count with me. Everybody else, count on your own. Keep up with us, but count your own blocks. Carla, count with me. 1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
I have how many ones, Carla?
16.
Can I put 16 in the ones place?
No.
No, so I need to do what? What's that word?
We will need to regroup.
We have to regroup, which means we take how many ones?
We will have to take 10 ones.
Okay, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's circle 10 of our ones. And what do we do with them, Carla?
We're going to put them in, we're going to make it into a 10 rod.
Good. So we take those 10 ones and we turn it into a 10 rod. Okay, what should I do with these ones that I regroup so I don't accidentally count them again?
Cross them off.
I'm going to cross them out. But I'm going to make sure not to accidentally cross out too many. Now what do I do, Carla?
Now we need to find our 10s.
Are we ready to find our 10s yet?
I mean, we need to know how many are left.
How many ones are left? So let's count them. You guys count on your own paper, but keep up with Carla and I.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So how many ones do I have, Carla?
We have 6 ones.
Can I put 6 in the ones place?
You can.
Definitely. Okay. Now I'm ready to move on. What's my next step, Aaron? I count the 10s. I'm going to go ahead and take my other color. I don't know if I need to regroup yet, but I always want to take my other color just to show, hey, I'm in a new place now. So what do I do first? Aaron? I count the 10. So Aaron, count with me. Everybody else, count on your own paper, but keep up with us. What do we need to make sure that we don't forget? We don't forget the extra regroup 10. I've done it twice today. Don't be like me. Make sure that you count that extra regroup 10. Ready, Aaron? Okay, everybody count on your own paper, but keep up with us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
How many 10s do I have?
11.
Can I put 11 in the 10s place? So what do I need to do? I need to regroup. So I take how many?
10.
How many 10s?
10.
10 10s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what do I do with those 10 10s?
We make them into 100.
I make them into 100s flat. Now, what should I do with those 10s that I regrouped so I don't accidentally count them?
Cross them out.
I'm going to cross them out. Now what do I do?
Count how many 10s are left.
Count how many 10s are left. How many 10s are left?
1.
Just 1. Okay. Very good. Victoria, what do I do next?
Now you count the 100.
I count the hundreds. Even though I'm not sure if I have to regroup, I'm going to go ahead and switch colors so that I know, hey, I'm in a new place value. Okay, Victoria, let's count the hundreds. Everybody, keep up with Victoria and I, but count on your own paper. 1. Can I put 100 in the hundreds place?
Definitely.
Definitely. So that means, class, that 2 times 58 is
116.
116. Very good. Okay, I will come up with the one problem. I'm trying to decide if I want to, I think I'm going to make a worksheet, even though it's just one problem. I'll make the worksheet. And then, so I will scan it to you guys at home. And then I will print it later. It'll probably just be handwritten. And I'll just give it to you. Okay, so right now, make sure your math books are out and open to yesterday's independent practice. Make sure that your extra sheet of paper is with yesterday's independent practice. You can put today's sheet of paper between pages 230 and 231. Make sure yesterday's independent practice is with the independent practice. Girls at home, you don't have to do this, sorry. You can just clear your desks because you email it to me. So I'm not going to check it there. And then everybody at school, go ahead and get out your reading logs and open it to last night's entry. And then once you have done both of those things, stand up, put your chair in. You need your book to read. I don't know if you'll need it, but just get it out just in case. What did I say to do with it? Can somebody tell Mason what I said to do with today's example problems?
Put it
Zadie?
Put it in between pages 33, 230 and 230.
Very good. Did you hear Zadie?